Well, hello. So when spring comes, my number one thing I get excited for is rhubarb. And this is all about classic, simple rhubarb jam. It is the essence of the season. It is just plain, beautiful rhubarb. So of course I have tons of rhubarb here at the farm and I go out and pick it. It's a little bit early still, so some of them are shorter. A lot of the older varieties are gonna be more towards the green color. Some of the better varieties are gonna be more in the reds. But honestly, when you're making this jam, any of the rhubarb works. It's all delicious. Rhubarb is actually a vegetable. I'm sure you know that. But we use it usually as sweet. So we usually make pies with it. I love a rhubarb custard pie. That to me is one of my favorites. Or rhubarb with ginger is delicious. So I washed all of my rhubarb and now I am just chopping it up. And you know what? I'm not being too picky on the uniformity of the pieces because this is a full-on jam. And when a jam is usually more of like the fruit pulp or the cooked down fruit, where it doesn't need to keep its shape. Whereas preserves would have more of the chunks of fruit. Jelly is always gonna be more with just fruit juice and it's gonna be clear. So this is kind of just that rustic, perfect thing to make at home. The pieces don't necessarily matter. It always comes out good. And it has just like the easiest ingredients, and that's what I love. So what does a jam take? It takes sugar. Especially with rhubarb, that tartness needs to be counterbalanced with sugar. Now, I am gonna admit, you're not gonna believe me, I actually cut back anymore and have redone the recipes to be slightly less sugar than traditional. When I talk to my grandma and what my great grandma used to do and everything, they use sugar in copious amounts. One, because it was kind of, it made anything good. But it also was just made it, sweet. It made it just, they didn't know what sugar always did to us. So instead what I try to do is counter a little bit so more of that fruit comes through, a little bit of that tartness even, and it kind of counterbalances, which I love. So rhubarb to me, you get that tartness, but if you really want to get flavor, I think it needs some really good citrus. Now, we're gonna first add the zest because I think that really brings out some flavor that you really want. But the acidity in citrus is extremely important for more than just flavor. The acidity is actually what's gonna help when this cans to be completely safe. Canning, I know, scares a lot of people. We are gonna actually can this jam. But the thing with canning is, if you follow a good recipe, this is a good recipe, you don't have to worry. Especially, the easiest thing to do and the thing with the least amount of worry is a jam because it has high level of, it has a lot of citrus in it and a lot of sugar. It's a really safe one to do. If you haven't done one, it's a good one to start with. So I'm gonna zest in some lemon, and then I'm actually gonna zest in some orange too. Now, I have blood oranges on hand, and honestly, the redness in the rhubarb is gonna make you not know the difference. So I'm gonna zest in these. Now, the reason I do orange, to me, orange and rhubarb, and I know Grandma would agree with me, you cannot get more classic. There's something about the orange that I'm not gonna let it overpower, but it really brings out and just makes the rhubarb flavor sing. It is so good. So I'm gonna finish zesting these, and I'm gonna juice them in there. Guys, we're gonna make jam. This is how easy it is. So my juice has a lot of the blood orange in it. You can use regular orange, that's usually what I use, but I had blood orange. So I'm gonna pour that in there with the lemon juice, the zest is all in there. Now I'm using a traditional jam pan. I don't expect everyone to have a jam pan. What they are is just a heavy copper pan that is a little bit wider and lower, so it is more evaporation as it's cooking and evenly heats. A heavy bottom pan, a good kettle of any type will work. So I'm gonna take this over to the stove. I'm gonna turn it on. We're gonna turn it on kind of medium. You want it to come and slowly start to cook. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let it come up. The sugar is gonna draw out the juices. That citrus juice is really gonna keep pulling them out. And we're gonna start cooking it at a low boil and just let it cook. That's what a jam is. Then we're gonna get ready with all of our canning supplies. Guys, you are gonna be canners in no time. So it's been cooking, it's at a rolling boil, which means it's a boil you can't stir down. It continues boiling when you stir it. And I'm gonna continue cooking it, but you can see, I added no more liquid than that citrus juice we added in, and look at all that extra liquid that's in there. So we're gonna continue cooking it. We're gonna get all the pectins to release that are naturally occurring. We're gonna let it thicken up slightly, and we're gonna can jam. It's a beautiful process. So this has been cooking for about 15-20 minutes at that boil. And now what we're gonna do, this is kind of a weird process that some people aren't used to. When I do a jam, I like to Get the liquid off of all that fruit separately and then cook that down so we don't have to just continue cooking for so long. So really what we're gonna do is drain that liquid off. It's a hot pan, so you have to be careful. We're gonna drain this liquid off, which you can see is pouring right out of all that rhubarb. And we're gonna pour the liquid back in the pan and cook it into more of a thickened syrup. Since it has all the sugar in there, you can really thicken it up and get it to more of that jam consistency so you don't have to cook the fruit and really get rid of all the flavor. It's a great way to quicken the process and just to make a delicious jam. So I'm gonna let this sit here and drain just a little bit more, and we're just gonna cook down the liquid. So this has been boiling, and you can tell it is completely different. It is kind of more of a syrup, and I checked the temperature to make sure. And you know, when it gets to the right temperature, you know it's gonna be that thickened kind of sugar syrup. Think of it almost like candy making. At Christmas we make candy. It's kind of the same thing. So now I'm gonna put in this rhubarb pulp, the actual fruit, and a little bit of residual juice that did come with it, which is fine. I don't throw it out. We're gonna put that in there. And then we're just gonna let it heat all the way through, let it come back to a boil, really be cooking, and then we can put it into jars. Guys, this is jam. This is kind of, to me, the fun part of jam. It's a good jam sesh. This is my type of jam session. So this came back to a boil. I let it cook for just about a minute just to make sure everything was hot, because the point of canning is you want it to get hot all the way through, and you want to keep it hot when you're going to can it, because we're going to put these into a hot water bath that's going on the stove. We have the kettle going. So as you can see at the moment, I'm not going to say the color's beautiful. Now, sometimes if you have a really red and only use red rhubarb, you'll have a great color. I instead use a little bit of gel coloring. This is what Grandma would do. If the pros do it, guys, this is what we do. And if you add just a little bit of that redness in there, we're gonna stir it in. Look at that. We instantly are getting just a better color. And I think you don't wanna overdo it and make it like a fake color. It's not a red velvet cake, but you do wanna get that kind of pretty consistent color. So when it's in a jar, because the point of a canned good is the prettiness. I mean, that's why we do it now. I mean, canning at its core back in the day, it was done out of necessity. You had families to feed, you had food that was ready in the garden, and you were gonna find a way to do it. So I have my sterilized jars, I have my lids ready, my rings ready. I have my funnel. This is a glass funnel. It's old, but it's what I'm using. And I'm just gonna start filling the jars. So the big thing here is headspace, and you wanna keep that headspace at the top. Always look for the recipe in the description of the video if you're curious on all the amounts, the measurements, the actual space. I'm gonna keep filling these. Then I'm gonna wipe them off to make sure they're clean, fit them with lids. This is how easy it is to have canned things. I'm excited for you. So I'm wiping off the top with hot water, clean paper towel, making sure there's no contaminants on top. That makes sure you have a good seal. And also always check your jars prior, because you reuse jars. You don't get new jars every year. You wanna make sure there's no chips, no cracks, no good. So I put it on the ring, fingertip tight, which I know sounds hard, but after you do a couple, you will totally understand. I like to always do mine on a little pan like this because it's easy to transport. And you get the drips, anything. So I have my hot water bath going. It is boiling. You want it boiling. I have my little, you need a jar lifter in the bottom to make sure they're risen off the top and not touching the bottom of the kettle, which if you buy a complete set ready to go for jars, that's all you need. So I'm gonna put these in. We have the hot jam. We have hot boiling water. You want everything the same temperature, because if you change extremes and go something really cold and something really hot, it can sometimes break a jar, crack a jar. I'm gonna put these in. We're gonna process them. Things like this with such high sugar and the citrus in it doesn't take long. You want the water to just cover it. Super easy. I'll see you in 10 minutes. I'm joking, it will seem like a second for you, but 10 minutes for me. Oh, do you hear that pop? That's the first one, you guys. So these go super quick and they seal really quick, which is always the best part. When you hear that little pop, that is the best music to hear. So you wanna let them sit and cool down to room temperature for 24 hours. Don't move them too much, don't shake them, don't turn them upside down. After 24 hours, this is always the one thing people don't know. It is best to remove the rings. When you keep a ring on, it could give you a false positive of whether they were actually sealed or not. So remove the rings, make sure that seal is good. And then when you keep it off for storage, you can always be seeing the seal and the lid and make sure it's not bulged anywhere. Make sure it's sealed and good, and that's what you want to do. They look nice with the rings, but it's best to store them without the rings. I store them in my basement, but anywhere that's just like kind of darker, out of direct sunlight, they're going to be good for at least a year. That is the best part. If you don't want to can them, but I think you should. This is the easiest thing to can. You can keep it in your fridge. You could actually probably freeze it, and it would be good for a few weeks in the fridge, but I think it's just best to can it. So here's a little bit left at the end. And sometimes depending on your rhubarb, you're always gonna have a different amount, but look at how beautiful. It's like the perfect consistency. There's no fake thickeners in it. There is no gel in it. It's just that beautiful thickened jam consistency, and that's exactly what I want. You get kind of that fruit puree in there. My mouth is watering, can you tell? Okay, this is what I love. You get just that hint of a pucker in the back of your tongue on each side, but then so much like pure rhubarb flavor, which honestly, it's hard to always pinpoint rhubarb flavor because we usually put it with so much sugar or so many other things in pies and crisps and tarts. But this gives you the essence of rhubarb. That citrus, it really just makes it pop on your tongue and all your taste buds and actually just give you tons of flavor without overpowering it. It just brings out all that rhubarb flavor. Guys, this jam is my favorite. Put it on biscuits, put it on bread, put it in your favorite jam crumb bar. Like if you would make my raspberry crumb bars and put this in it, golden. You can put this in anything. A fruit parfait, like put yogurt. Okay, I'll stop, but this is a great jam. I hope you make it. As always, what do I hope? I hope you share these videos around because it is so fun to see all the people that find these and realize, oh my goodness, that's easy. That is fun. I can do that. Because you know what? If I can do it, I know you can do it. We can all do it. And I think it just makes the world go round to have some fun in the kitchen, enjoy something, give this away as gifts. Check the recipe on my website, wiseguide.com. This recipe, so many other recipes. I love when you come over to the farm. You need to come back again. I need to go on and maybe pick some more rhubarb because now I want rhubarb crisp. Until then, go make some jam. It's delicious.